Hey guys, and welcome to today's lesson, displaying analytical data in your website. In today's lesson you will learn how to use certain AJAX widgets, such as the tab panel, the calendar extender, and the line chart. In addition, we will delve a bit deeper into session variables. You will learn how to display both grouped and detailed data, and you will learn how your website can automatically send emails to its subscribers. Okay, so let's get started. For today's lesson you will need the AJAX control toolkit. If you haven't got this toolkit yet, you can download and install it easily by navigating over to ajaxcontroltoolkit.codeplex.com and hit the big purple download button. Once the RAR file has been downloaded, extract it to a folder on your hard disk. I like to store it in the My Documents folder. So create a new folder called AJAX and extract the downloaded files there. To add the new AJAX widgets to your Visual Studio, open your toolbox and look for the AJAX Extensions tab. Right click it and select Choose Items. A menu will appear. Hit the Browse button, head over to your new AJAX folder and select and open the AJAX Control Toolkit.dll and select OK. This will add tons of new AJAX widgets to your Visual Studio toolbox. Okay, let's get started. Create a new web page in your Pages folder and call it Orders. And select the master page CMS as the master page. Open up your design view and drag and drop a tab container from your newly installed AJAX widgets on your new page and click on the Add New Tab link. You might want to expand this container a bit and then right click the arrow in the top right corner and select the Add Tab panel to add two panels and give them the following names by double clicking them: Open, Orders, Closed Orders, and Analytics. Let's get working on the Open Orders tab. In this tab I want to display orders which clients have placed but have not yet been sent nor have been collected. The Closed Order tab will display the same data but will only show orders that have already been sent or collected. Drag and drop two regular text boxes in the Open Orders tab and call them Text Open Orders 1 and 2. Below them, drag and drop a label with no text and call it Label Open Orders. Next, add the following text before the text fields. There we go. When a user clicks on either one of these text boxes, I want a pop-up calendar to appear so that a user can easily enter a date. To do this, head over to your AJAX extensions and look for the calendar extender and drag and drop it on your text boxes. Now, in order for AJAX to run, it will need a script manager, so drag and drop a script manager on your page. So that should do it. If you run your page, let's run our page now and see if everything's working. Yes, and as you can see, a tab container is being displayed, and when we click on the text boxes, a pop-up calendar is displayed, allowing us to easily enter dates. Don't forget to add this new page to the navigation bar. So open up the master page, look for the management tab, and add a new link there. And link your new orders page. And don't forget to do the same for the master page CMS. That's all it takes to design this page. Easy, right? Unfortunately, the coding part will be a bit trickier. When dates are entered in these text fields, I want to display HTML tables containing all those orders grouped per month, per client, and they also need to contain a view detail link, which once clicked displays a more detailed overview of what orders are placed in a specific order. In order for this to work, we will need to add a new entity object called grouped orders with 3 parameters, namely a date, client, and a total. We will also need to expand the connection class to be able to retrieve grouped orders and detailed orders. Let's start by creating the entity. Open your app code folder and add a new class to your entities folder and call it grouped order. Give it 3 public parameters, namely a string client, a datetime date, and a double total. And add a constructor with all 3 parameters marked. There, that's all it takes. Now let's get working on the connection class. In your connection class, create a new static method that returns an array list called getGroukedOrders. And that takes a datetime called date1, a boolean called shipped. The shipped boolean will determine whether or not an order has been shipped, so that we can use the same method for the open and completed orders step. The date variable is going to contain a day in the month. Inside this method we will determine the last day of that month, so that we can retrieve all orders between those 2 dates. Before we start writing any queries, let's take a look at the database. Open your SQL Server Management Studio and open your orders page. I want to write a query that will return all orders placed in a specific month, grouped by customer and date. For example, if the user customer placed 2 orders on the 12th of May, I want to display that as 1 result, not 2. To do this, I can use the following SQL code. And then I need to add a where clause, where date is higher or equal to the 1st of May and smaller or equal then the last of June. And order shipped needs to be set to false. And that will give me apparently nothing. Oh, 2013. That will give me this result. As you can see, the orders have been grouped by customer, but they haven't been grouped by date yet. To remedy this problem, add the following syntax to your query. And that should give me this result. Yes, and as you can see, orders have been grouped by customer and by date. So now just copy this query, go back to Visual Studio, create a new string called query, and between the quotation marks, copy and paste your query. Okay, so let's do a bit of formatting. Add a few tabs. Few enters, may disappear, and you need to replace the where clauses by add date 1 and add date 2 and the 0 by add order shipped. There, that's our query. Now just copy the code that I write. I seem to have made a little error. We've defined the getGrouvedOrders method with 3 parameters, but when we call it in our orders page, we only pass 2 parameters. To fix this problem, right-click the method and select Find Usages. That will redirect you back to your orders page, and in the getGrouvedOrders call, add the date2 parameter as the second parameter and save. Once that's been taken care of, go back to the orders page and go to the code behind screen. And create a new method called generate orders with 3 parameters, 2 strings, a string begin date and a string end date, and the bool shipped. When working with datetime objects, it's usually a good idea to convert your dates to the format that your database uses, which is usually the United States format. To do this, we can use the datetime format object, format info, excuse me. New culture info. There. Now we can use this object to convert dates to the United States format. If your database uses another format, you can look on the internet for the correct code for your country. Create a new datetime object called incremental date and set its value to that of date 1. We are going to increment this date each time by a month until we reach the value of date 2. So add the following code. There we go. Now add a string builder called SB to this method and then enter the following code. Okay, that should do it. Now we just need to call this method in the page load. call the generate orders. Begin date is the text open orders.text. And shipped is false. Okay. You can do exactly the same for the closed orders. The only difference which you'll need to do is set the shipped to true. Okay, so now let's test it out to see if everything's working. And don't forget to set the auto postback property of the text fields to true. Okay, let's give it a shot. Ah yes, and as you can see, the data is being displayed. Now we just need to add a bit of CSS styling. So go back to Visual Studio, open your CSS/stylesheet folder, and add the following CSS code. There we go. Now let's try reloading the page. Ah yes, and that looks a lot better. Now let's get to working on the detailed orders. In your Solution Explorer, right-click the Pages folder and add a new item. Add a new web form and call it Orders Detailed. And select the master page CMS. Inside your new page, drag and drop a grid view on your page and a button. And above the grid view, drag and drop a label. Call the label title. Set its text to null. And call your button ship and its text property to ship order. Next, select your grid view, click the little arrow and select a new data source. Select database and call it SDS orders detailed. Select the coffee connection string and specify a custom SQL statement. Then type in the following code. Hit the next button. A new screen will appear in which you need to define the parameters marked by the @ symbol. Select query string for your both parameters and set their query string fields to client and date. A query string is a parameter that is passed in the URL of the current page. We just need to go back to our orders page to pass this parameter. If you would like to, you can format your page a bit. I'm going to go for the Mocha format and extend the table a bit. Go back to your orders page and in the code behind file, look for the generate orders method. And replace the 0 over here with the following syntax. There we go. This passes the grouped order.client and grouped order.date variables to a URL. Let's try saving and running our page now. Let's see if everything is working. Oh, I've got an error. Alright, I forgot something. Go back to the orders detailed page and select configure data source. Hit next until you get to the define parameters page. Click the date parameter, show advanced properties, and set its DB type to date. Okay, so let's try that again. Yes, and as you can see, now it works. The parameters have been passed in the URL, and they have been used to fill our grid view over here. Let's delve a bit deeper into these query strings. Go to your code behind and type in the following syntax in the page load methods. There we go. And that will add a little title to our page. If you are familiar with PHP, you might recognize the get and set methods. Double-click the ship order button to create a new method. When this button is pressed, I want to update the table orders, to update the order shipped value of these orders to true, and I want to notify the user who placed the order that his order has been completed. To do this, we will need to expand our connection class with 3 new methods. One to retrieve a user's details, one to retrieve the details of the orders you see here, and a method to update the orders table. So go to your connection class and add the following methods. Alright, that takes care of the connection class. Now go back to the code behind for the orders detail page and type in the following code. Okay, that should take care of the orders being updated when the button is pressed. Now I also want my site to automatically send an email each time the button is pressed. To send an email, create a new method, private void send email with a string client and a string email and an array list order list for input parameters. Next, type in the following code. Okay, that should do it. Don't forget to replace this string with your own email address and this string with your own email address as well, and the password that you use to log in. Okay, now all we need to do is call the method here using the client using the user.name, user.email and order list variables as input parameters. Now let's try that out to see if everything's working. I've taken the liberty by placing my own email address and password, but of course I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. So let's give it a try. View, ship order. Yes, and as you can see, an email has been sent to my email address. And if we take a look at the database, you can see that the order shipped property has been set to 1. On a side note, for some reason I had a lot of problems sending emails using the Gmail SMTP because I was using the two-step verification for logging in. Disabling this feature resolved my problem. I have no idea how to bypass this problem, so if anyone has any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. So that takes care of the email and orders part. Now all that we need to do is provide the analytics part. Let's take a look at the charts that I've created. I've created 2 charts in which I display the sum of the amount of orders grouped by a certain variable. In the first one, I've grouped them by date, and in the second one, I've grouped them by customer. To do this, go back to your orders page, open the analytics tab, and first drag and drop 2 line charts from the AJAX extensions there. Then go to your code behind screen and create a new method called generate line chart. And a string sum object, a string group by object, a string title, and an AJAX control toolkit dot line chart object called chart. Next, copy and paste the following code. Okay, that should do it. Now we just need to define this method. So click it and select the generate method stub. Then open your connection class and type in the following code. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back to our orders page and call our generate line chart method in the page load. For example, let's show all the orders placed per customer or client. Call it orders per customer and set it to line chart 1. Let's test that out. That looks good. Let's try filling in the second line chart. Call the method again. Amount. A concatenation of date name month and date name year. Call it units sold per month and set it to line chart 2. And when you save and run that gives us the following result. One last thing, this page should only be accessible to administrators. To deny regular users access, go back to Visual Studio, go to your orders page and create a new method called authenticate administrator. Make sure to call it in your page loads as the first method, and then type in the following code. So I guess that's it for today. Before we part ways, there is one final thing which I'd like to say to you guys. Last October, I've been diagnosed with a bad case of cancer, more precisely bone cancer, and I've been in treatment ever since. Right now, things are looking up. It appears that in the long run, I will be able to be cured, but suffice it to say that the last few months have been, without a doubt, the worst couple of months of my life. And I want you guys to know that while I was in the hospital, I spent a lot of time creating these videos, updating my YouTube channel, and I must admit that it brought me a lot of happiness and stress relief to see just how many people like to see my videos, how many people liked and subscribed, and it really helped take my mind off things. So I guess what I want to say is thank you for everybody who's watched my videos, liked, commented, subscribed. Your continued support has really helped get me through these awful times. So once again, thank you. So I guess that's all there is that I have to teach you guys. We've learned how to build static and dynamic pages. We built our own content management system, a login and registration procedure, and even a web shop and analytical tools. If you made it this far into the lessons, you should really be proud of yourself. So I don't think I will be continuing this series of lessons. If enough people are interested, I might make a last lesson about how you can export data to Word and Excel. So if you're interested, just leave me a comment in the comment section. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in future lessons.